بعد أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم نحمده ونصلي على رسوله الكريم أما بعد فأعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهد الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله قال الله تعالى يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله حق تقاته ولا تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون وقال تعالى يا أيها الناس اتقوا ربكم الذي خلقكم من نفس واحدة وخلق منها زوجها وبث منهما رجالا كثيرا ونساء واتقوا الله الذي تساءلون به والأرحام إن الله كان عليكم رقيبا وقال تعالى يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله وقولوا قولا سديدا يصلح لكم أعمالكم ويغفر لكم ذنوبكم ومن يطع الله ورسوله فقد فاز فوزا عظيما فإن أصدق الحديث كتاب الله تعالى وأحسن الحديث حديث محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم وشر الأمور محدثاتها وكل محدثات بدعة وكل بدعة ضلالة وكل ضلالة في النار أما بعد بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء سيد المرسلين نبينا محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم نبينا محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم وأصحابه وأزواجه أجمعين أما بعد. All the praises and thank you to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, sustainer of the universe and control of all affairs. And blessing to be the most distinguished among all the messengers, foremost blessing be on Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Peace and blessing of Allah be on him, on his wife, children, companions, and may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless all the righteous ulama who passed in the past, among us who are going to come. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless all the righteous people who passed in the past, who are among us who are going to come, inshallah. May Allah bless all of them, ameen, inshallah. So today, inshallah, I'm going to talk about a few things. And this will be more of what are the choices of Muslims living in the Western world. That's the main topic, inshallah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran and Surah Al-Ma'idah, بعد أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم يا أيها الذين آمنوا لا تتخذوا اليهود والنصارى أولياء بعضهم أولياء بعض من يتولهم منهم فإنه منهم إن الله لا يهدي القوم الظالمين. صدق الله العظيم. So the rough, more or less, mafhum of this ayat is, O you who believe, do not take certain Yahud and certain Nasara, Yahud and Jews and Christians as allies, certain people. These are allies of one another because they are there to harm you as a Muslim but not really allies with you. But some are allies to you as well. Those among you who ally themselves with these belong with them. Allah does not guide the transgressors. So who Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is referring here? The one who transgress. The one who do the blessed family. The one who cross the boundaries and have their personal desires before the actual deen came upon them. So those are the one Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is referring. The one who is staying or who stood firm during that time when Musa alayhi salam was there and he brought the talimat. When Jesus was there, Isa alayhi salam was there and he brought the talimat. The one who followed that teaching, the truth teaching, they are the guided one. The one who did not follow that teaching and deviated from the actual path and have their own awliya, have their own na'udhu billah, the God and Son of God and all those things, those are the one Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is referring as a misguided one. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect us from any of those kharafat, whatever being said, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala steadfast, help us steadfast to the right path, the path which is really leading towards the path back to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Inshallah. So today in the same context I'm going to talk inshallah about the choices of Muslims living in the Western world. So dear brothers, and if they are sisters, obviously this message is going to go beyond this So dear brothers and sisters in Islam, this title is very important for us. The khutbah, this khutbah is very important for us. We live in this society. We are in the United States. There are other parts of the world, Western world we call it. So as we live in this world, what are the choices we picked up? Obviously, we are more or less 300 plus million people living in this part of the continent, United States we're talking. And among them, when we just bisect and we say how many Muslims are there, more or less, there's no exact pinpoint, but more or less consensus is somewhere between 7 to 8 million Muslims are there, including all reverts, all converts, or all Muslims who immigrate from any part of the world. And that includes practicing and non-practicing. Unfortunately, this is very sad to say, there are Muslims, they call themselves non-practicing Muslim. In totality, Muslim is a practicing Muslim. It's unfortunate, very unfortunate fact of it. So as we know, a lot of people immigrated from different parts of the world in previous history as well. If you take the example from the 17th centuries, people from Southeast Asia starts immigrating to different parts of the world anyway. They moved to Dutch colonies, as it comes in in history. They moved to Dutch colonies of Java and Sumatra, and some moved to Cape of Good Hope and those kind of things. They moved as well. So there are greater presence in South Africa. So the total population of South Africa of the Muslims may be less than 3%, more or less. That's what the consensus is. And this is 300 years old. If you think of from that, or people are immigrating to this part of the world or different part of the world. So what are the choices they are making while moving to this one? Obviously, they are moving here for some of us sitting here as well. Could be moved because of prosperity, because of education, because of some parents. Some came in and they were born here, and some are immigrated as slaves. Children of the slaves, and they were Muslims sometime, and then after that, obviously because of their condition and situation, they went away from the Islam. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala guided some of them, they became back again. And that's what you see, So this is the society, this is the society we live in. And when we live and move into these societies, we becomes a minority. Obviously, majority who rules in any country, they have the edge over the minorities. But that doesn't mean, alhamdulillah, in this country we see minorities have very good, up to certain they have the rights as well. Equal rights, we call it. Obviously there's other aspect of it, do they get really the same justice or not, that's a different conversation. But when we grow up, when we live in this country, society, we have three choices. Either we are immigrated from somewhere, or we are part of living as a part of this society, as a part of this fabric. So we have three choices to look upon. One is assimilation. We assimilate with whatever. Do as saying goes, sometimes you have heard, when you're in Rome, do as Romans do, right? So is it okay to assimilate ourselves with them and say, as everyone is doing, as everything is okay, let's go do that one? Another choice people do is, they do the isolation. They completely shut themselves off, and they say, well, this does not, even though I'm living here and in here or any part of the Western world, I made the choices because of prosperity and so many other things, but I don't want to take the bad of this society, and I want to protect me, my family, whatever. So they completely isolate from the society. That's another way of looking at it. And another third category is they do the selective interaction. So they choose, we will have the interaction, but we will make a distinction when it becomes the halal and the haram. So they do the fikr about halal and haram. We're talking from the Muslim's perspective, right? We do look from the other perspective, should we mingle, how much we can mingle, right? As a Muslim, I'm not allowed to consume the alcohol. Is it okay to sit when the alcohol party is going on? Okay, so selective interaction. So people pick and choose. They say, well, I don't want to be part of any of those. I don't know, you know. So these are the three choices people pick. So I'm going to talk about the first choice here. Assimilation. Those who try to assimilate, what usually they do is they suffer from a massive inferiority complex, because they think if we are not part of this society, the way society works or operates and do, so probably I'll be considered as a backward, or maybe I'm inferior on so many things, and they feel inferiority complex, some sort of I'm inferior to them if I don't participate. So they want to act like as alluded to the example, when you're Rome, do as Romans do. So if you're Rome, that doesn't mean you become a pope, you become all over right. That's there's a whole big connotation of that. So if someone picks that one, what is the advantage and disadvantage of that? Advantage, from people eyes, the human eyes, we think like, okay, we are working like them, we are caring like that, we are dressed up like that, we talk like that, and all those, and we feel like we are one of them, or among all of those. But guess what? That's not the way. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has created everyone a little different. And there's a reason for that. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran, I have created you to get to know you each other. So our purpose of this life, or this world, is to get to know each other. And Allah knows that we are created with different complexion, with different structures. Right? If someone wants to imitate, I am a woman and you are a male, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has perfectly created you as a male, so what will happen? You can ask, you can say, but guess what? You're not going to give the birth to the kid. You're a male by birth. If you are a female by birth, it doesn't matter how much we imitate, we say, I'm so macho man, macho woman, and I'm a tomboy, whatever. At the end of the day, you are a girl. Doesn't matter what you say. Allah has given some traits to the men, some to the women. The patience what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given to the men, that is a different level of patience than the woman. The one Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given the patience to the woman, that's a whole different level of patience men did not have. The pain and the whole, the cycles they go through giving birth and all those, men cannot probably tolerate. But this is the thing of Allah. Sometimes people, have just a side conversation. People say, or sometimes women say, if it's taking a turn, Allah would have given the nizam like that, or system that male can give the birth and somebody give the birth. So then we will see that how male feels. And my response to that is, again, it's my own personal opinion. I said, if that was the plan of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we would have gone through the same cycle. It's a taqdeer of Allah. There's nothing skyrocketing here, right? What male goes through, females don't go through sometimes. What female goes through, male doesn't go through. This is the taqdeer. Allah has balanced the whole overall system, nizam, this dunya. That's how it works. But sometimes people doing the assimilation as a first category, mixing too much. They feel like they're so ashamed if they don't assimilate and do as others are doing, probably they'll be left out. Guess what? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given a nizam to you, what is best in us. If alcohol is that, the consumption of alcohol, for example, let's take one example. If consumption of alcohol was good, Allah would have continued on and says, okay, let's everyone consume. We know what happens. Why? Cops stop you on DUI and give you a ticket if you, God forbid, someone is drinking the alcohol. Because they know after certain when you have intoxication in your body, after that you are not in your house. You don't know where you are actually, and you can commit a bigger crime. You can accident. You can make this and that, whatnot. So even the nizam of this dunya does not permit beyond certain limit after that. And guess what? That certain limit. Most of the problem created by us as a human is by us as well. So Allah knows us better than us. And if we assimilate with this society and completely dissolve ourselves in that, what is the advantage and disadvantage of it? Advantage, you see immediately that you may be fit into the society. Disadvantage is, as you come as an immigrant, sometimes you come as an immigrant and they welcome you, they say, welcome to this country. there's a greater thought behind it from evangelists. The greater thought is, welcome to this country. I know we cannot change you, but your all generations are ours after that. Because they know some of us will struggle, will strive to protect ourselves, and not ourselves, but the generation. The majority of us will neglect that. It would be good, as I said, I mean, you may have heard this saying that it's sometimes you can protect yourself, and the best you can do is your next generation. But what after next to the next to the next? Probably we won't be there. If you raise the good children, if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's blessing is there, they will continue on, and their children, maybe inshallah, may Allah bless them, and they may be better than us even, in Islamic, from Islamic perspective, on deen and all those. But if they don't do those strive, they don't do that effort, so guess what? They will be, you may hear the people saying the names, I'm Muhammad. You may see Muhammad, but there's no correlation with the name and the actual act of them, because they are just by namesake. You see other name, and you'll say, oh, you're Muslim, but you are doing this all? What is this all? Oh, my parents were Muslim, I were not. I mean, we see these all the phenomena all the time. So this is the disadvantage of assimilation. The second thing is, it doesn't matter what you do. Never ever forget your roots. When Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala himself says, I have created you from a single nafs, then dispersed you all across the world, more or less mafhum is. And then the whole part of it is to get to know each other again. So you're from same parents, started from same progeny of same, and then you disperse all over the world. We have a different complexion, we have a different dialect, we have different words and saying, adat, atwar, and all those we have different. But in the same token, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, you're from the same nafs. You have the same blood, you have the same things, everything. You are from progeny of Adam and Eve. So assimilation is one part. Another one is isolation. People think that I am by myself, isolating, completely cut off from anything is a good choice. So what are the repercussions of that? So I'll give the example. For example, you have a nice fabric here, and it has different patches on it. Nice, different combinations. Sometimes you have seen this kind of fabric or some quilt, or it is a nice, different coloring on. So you are one part of that fabric. What would it look like if you take that piece out of that whole quilt? It looks a vacuum there. So that's basically what we are trying to do if we are completely isolating ourselves. At the end of the day, whatever we do, you raise your kids. Alhamdulillah, some people are good in that. Even Muslims or other Christian Jews, they are good in that one too. They raise their own kids in their own confined world. But the repercussion of that one is, at the end of the day, you have to walk on the same street. You have to go to the same grocery stores as anyone else does. You have to interact with the people as you do. So what are you afraid of? Yes, you want to give them the value, that's good. But let's not cut off from the world. There's a problem. Then kids will be raised with less of confidence. That doesn't mean I'm saying that people who are doing it, their kids are always with less of confidence. But let them know that this is the society you need to live in. But these are the boundaries where we need to protect ourselves. So isolation is also not a good option here. It's a long subject, we can talk on and on, but I'm just thought-provoking here. And the third one is selective interaction. So this is the best medium path to go with. I'll give you the answer, I'll give you the analogy here. If Rasulullah would have kept the deen to his and his family only, what would be our answer here? We would not be sitting here. If Rasulullah has confined his deen to just to the Arab Peninsula, we would not be sitting right here. So Rasulullah went out of his comfort zone, and as the tawfiq of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he propagated Islam. He adapted the selective interaction. He was among the Jews, he was among the Christians, he was among the Buddhists, and all those, whatever you can think of, all other. But at the end of the day, he was propagating the right deen of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And by his gesture, by his akhlaq, by his talimat, people got inspired, and they were, but Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala keep giving them the hidayah. So this is the best course of action when Rasulullah himself has adapted. And we, as the Ummah of Rasulullah, we need to adapt the selective interaction model. Because at the end of the day, if someone thinks, okay, I can be isolated living in Saudi Arabia and then have all the ta'limat and everything and I will not have interaction anywhere in the world. Well, if you are that much confined, you can probably survive. But guess what? There's so many things goes beyond with all the kharafat, the cell phone, these interaction, different way of we call it global village now. So these things you're sitting in your remote villages anywhere in Middle East, whatnot. These things are reaching to you anyway. How are you going to protect your kids with that if you don't equip with them that this is the right, this is the wrong? So instead of being afraid as a parents from these all things, we need to be open to have a selective interactions. That is always a good choice. And as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَمَا أَرْسَلْنَاكَ إِلَّا رَحْمَةً لِلْعَالَمِينَ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala did not send Rasulullah for this community of Arab or Saudi Arabia or maybe one area and said, you are the Rasul of this. Other Rasul or Abi Akram was sent for small communities, for their own community. Rasulullah when he came, he was sent with the message that you are Rahmatan lil Alameen. You are the best of the example among human beings for whole world. So that's how we need to get the message that if Rasulullah was sent as a Rahmatan lil Alameen, and if we are the torchbearer of that deen, we should be open to have interaction. We should have the selective interaction. We need to cut the boundaries where it's right and where it's wrong. But assimilation is not a good choice for Muslims. Isolation is not a good choice for the Muslims. But selective interaction or selective integration in the society, that's what we need to do. We need to play our part. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala help us understand this a long topic, but I'm just trying to, my whole goal was to have some thought-provoking conversation here, and maybe inshallah take it back and whatever Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will give, inshallah the best of the best, we can do that. أقول قولي هذا أستغفر الله لي ولكم سائر المسلمين فاستغفروه إنه هو الغفور الرحيم. الحمد لله استعين واستغفر ونعوذ من شرور انفسنا من يهد الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له واشهد ان لا اله الا الله وحده لا شريك له واشهد ان محمدا عبده ورسوله ارسله بالحق بشيرا ونذيرا بين يدي الساعه من يطع الله ورسوله فقد رشد ومن يعصي ما فانه لا يضر الا نفسه ولا يضر الله شيئا. اعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما صليت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد. اللهم بارك على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما باركت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد. ربنا لا تؤاخذنا إن نسينا وأخطأنا. ربنا ولا تحمل علينا إصرا كما حملته الذين من قبلنا. ربنا ولا تحملنا ما لا طاقة لنا به واعف عنا واغفر لنا وارحمنا أنت مولانا فانصرنا على القوم الكافرين. Amen. Make dua for Brother Abdul Razak in UK. He's a good friend of Brother Tariq Jenda, Tariq's father. He passed away. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala inshallah grant him Jannah and all the deceased, all the loved ones for us and everyone anywhere in the world Muslim. So may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala inshallah grant all of them Jannah, protect them from Azab al-Qabr. I mean, inshallah make a collective dua for all of them, inshallah, for as well. اللهم اهدنا فيمن هديت وعافنا فيمن عافيت وتولنا فيمن توليت وبارك لنا فيما اعطيت وقنا شر ما قضيت فانك تقضي ولا يقضى عليك انه لا يذل من عليك ولا يعز من عليك تبارك ربنا وتعالى نستغفر ونتوب اليك وصلى الله على نبينا. اللهم اغفر لنا وللمؤمنين والمؤمنات والمسلمين والمسلمات والف بين قلوبهم واصلح ذات بينهم وانصرهم على عدوك وعدوهم. اللهم عن الكفرات الذين يسدون عن سبيلك ويكذبون رسولك ويقاتلون أولياءك اللهم خلق بين قدماتهم وزلزل أقدامهم وانزل بهم بعثك الذي لا تردوه عن القوم المجرمين آمين. اللهم اغفر لي وللمؤمنين وللمؤمنات يوم يقوم الحساب. قال إن صلاتي ونسكي ومحياي ومماتي لرب العالمين. ربنا هب لنا من أزواجنا ذرية قرة أعين واجعلنا للمتقين إماما. آمين. عباد الله الله في أصحابي لا تتخذوا من غير بعدكم من أحبهم فبحبي أحبهم ومن أبغضهم ببغضي أبغضهم فخير أمتي قرني ثم الذين يلونهم ثم الذين يلونهم إن الله يأمر بالعدل والإحسان وإيتاء ذي القربى وينهى عن الفحشاء والمنكر والبغي يعظكم لعلكم تذكرون فاذكروني أذكركم واشكروا لي ولا تكفرون.